But anyway, then came what I believe you believe, and I believe, and we both believe to be the only segment of the show that we believed. You feel me?
I think so.
MJF and MVP. Everybody's got three initials now that we care about here. Followed up on the issue that they had raised last week on the program. We're getting some episodic television here. MJF came out and, of course, insulted Prince. And, I don't know if he needs to try so hard to insult the people at the top of every interview. And I don't mean that he has to be nice to them, but can there be a double meaning every once in a while, or can you really roast them about something they should be ashamed of rather than just calling them names that it's up to fucking the individual opinion as to whether they fit those names or not. They might not all be fat or smelly or stupid or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, Brian? More of something that the town as a whole should be ashamed of, a devastating sports loss or a political scandal or a goddamn pollution has killed Granny down the river, something. No wonder you people are like this. You drink the water from X River. Do you see what I'm saying? Instead of he's trying too hard with just, fucking, I hate you all. You're all are fat and stupid.
Do you think maybe at this point in time, it's just a little extra to make sure they don't cheer for him?
Well, I think Tony's doing a pretty good job of that.
Because he got a pop. No, because when he came out, I mean, Omega had just been out there. I was surprised. MJF got a big pop, it seemed like, when he came out. When the music hit, I should say.
Yeah, and he feels he needs to battle against the tide, but that's what I'm saying. He knows a week ahead of time where he's going to be. Make it more personal and less obvious. I'm just insulting you so you will boo me. Make more fun of them in a jocular way because you're better than they are, and here's why, and cite a specific real life example. Get under their skin that way. To me, it would be a more legitimate thing. But nevertheless, he mentioned that MVP gave him the card and he wants to have a chit chat, and he asked MVP to come on down. And MVP comes down and the fans chant MVP and or we hurt people. I think at one point they were chanting both and then they got it together. But they still see MJF as somewhat of an AEW homegrown star, and they see MVP and Shelton and Bobby as just stars in general because they haven't done the stupid shit and they look legitimate. And so that's why that they're naturally going to cheer for or chant for these people, even depending on their actions. And that's also, as we've said, is indicative also of just the weak, not even weak, couldn't pull a greasy string out of a cat's ass weak baby faces they've got in this company. And MJF told MVP, hey, I said I'd never do friends again, but you do business. And I'd like to be in the business of hurting people. And they start to do the handshake, and the audio guy, unfortunately, went to sleep, nodded off because they had to hold it for a second before they got the music. But the music plays, and here comes Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley out. And Bobby gets up face to face with MJF, and the fans again are chanting, "We hurt people," or "We hurt people." What's the emphasis on is the drama over the key of E? We hurt people, or is it we hurt people?
We hurt people. That's what you.
We hurt people. That's the way they ought to do it. We hurt people. We hurt people. So Bobby holds out his hand and says, "Give me the card. Give me the card." What you the card? And it looked, everybody's playing this straight. And it looked like, okay, here, and he flummoxes and he gives him the card and Bobby rips it up. And then they kind of crowd around MJF and Menace, and MVP's like, hey, we're cool. And MJF's like, okay, well, yeah, you guys, I'll talk to you later. And he kind of gets out of there. And then you hear MVP talking to his guys, even though they're not on the microphone, but he's settling it down, but without giving any information about where this is going to go. Hey, we're all cool. We're all cool. Just settling it down. So something else is going to happen. But first, let's comment on this. This, again, you want to see what's going to go on here with MJF and MVP and the Hurt Syndicate. And, they're going to freshen it up here a little bit later on the show between MVP and Lashley and Benjamin. So you understand that they're not, goddamn it, odds with each other already suddenly. But this was probably the best done, most professional, and halfway intriguing thing on the show. Your thoughts, Mr. Last?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. And again, intriguing. When Bobby Lashley went in there, at first you think, oh, it's a handshake. And then when he says, give me the card, or with the card, I don't even think he said give me. I think he just said the card. It creates an interesting dynamic when MJF has to turn and say, Montel. And MVP has to step in. There's an interesting dynamic there. It didn't really have an ending, so we get to see where this goes again next week. I liked it. And the second part of this segment, which we're about to talk to. So yeah, to conclude, best part of the AEW show by far. Most intriguing thing on the AEW show in a while. We'll see where this goes because I don't know. I can't visualize how this is going to end up. The second part of this was
it may be in the running with is this open mic night bitch kind of.
I don't think it went the way all the people involved thought it was going to go.
Well, so MVP and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are still standing in the ring when suddenly out comes Brian Keith and Big Bill. And they've earlier in one of the break things, Jericho has told them they need to prove themselves to him, some of this business, whatever the fuck. But now they come out and say, well, what they were trying to say, what the intention of this segment was to say was that they were going to try to put themselves over and make a challenge for a tag team title shot against the Hurt Syndicate. But God damn it, as soon as Brian Keith was the first one to speak, and as soon as he had made like one declarative statement, MVP just balled up a giant wad of shit in his hand and flung it at a high rate of speed like a fucking major league pitcher right into Brian Keith's face. He just shit all over it. He just referred to him for the first of many times as a little bitch. And I don't even think he spoke directly at him. I think he spoke to his handler, Big Bill, about getting your little bitch back. And then Big Bill tried to start talking. And everything he said, MVP, again, it was like one of those batting machine things where the guy just stands there with a fucking bat, and every time one comes at him, he bam, and a bam. He would interrupt what they were trying to say and insult them and sting them. They couldn't handle his material, and then they're trying to go back to the fucking story. And he's like, well, hurry up, you two little bitches. I'm going to have my guys come down here and just slap the shit out of me. Just in the most dismissive, derogatory way possible. He allowed them to speak long enough to tell him that they wanted a title shot. Then they walked past them showing absolutely no trepidation whatsoever and said, go out there and win a match and you can get a title shot. There's a guy, I've never seen a smaller 7-foot guy that by the time they finished hacking down that redwood, and Brian Keith is a fucking midget anyway, and they just made him a little fucking mascot.
This was like Richard Pryor cutting down a heckler. I mean, it was just
Yes,
every word he got out, it was like boom, boom, boom. And fucking Big Bill looks so good. I mean, he's obviously taking all the right vitamins. He looks jacked and big and strong. Maybe never looked better than he does right now. And he started with confidence, and then he's like,
yeah, but nevertheless,
he knew there was nothing you could do. MVP had a look at his eyes like, I'm going to cut these fucking guys down no matter what. And he did, and it was amazing. And I can't wait to see this match now, because I really believe that his guys are going to kick the shit out of these two.
Yeah.
And he made me believe.
And can. Yes. That's the thing. The suspension of disbelief is back in the wrestling business. I have a feeling that Big Bill and Brian Keith better go on a long losing streak. Oh, crap. Anyway, man, speaking of a long...
Did Brian Keith walk into the wrong room? What did Brian Keith had...
Oh, yeah, this has to be some type of personal issue. This fucking guy has apparently overstepped his boundaries in some fashion and got verbally bitch slapped back down to fucking...
It was like someone played a practical joke on MVP, but he wasn't going to go along with it. He was just going to cut it down. Like, who are these guys out here?
I don't know. I think somebody was pulling a practical joke on Brian Keith and Big Bill. Send them out there to face the fucking gunnery.
Wonder what advice Jericho's going to give him now.
Don't come in here. Get him on me.
Don't go on a cruise with him.
Don't get in the elevator.